So thank you so much for coming in. A very, very warm welcome from my side to you. And we are having this webinar today, which is called the Power Up Business Webinar. And it's Mother's Day. And so a very happy Mother's Day to everybody. It's a good day to have this webinar because it's the Mother Day. It's the Mother's Day also. Now, amidst all these crisis situation that is going on and all these crisis news that keep rolling about, Mihir and I decided why not we have some space wherein we can not talk about only how, things are going downwards, but also talk about something that can uplift us and, give us some kind of skill, some kind of interaction, some kind of connection, collaboration that can help us become upgraded versions of ourselves in the coming times. Apart from this, whoever of us are business owners, entrepreneurs, job seekers, or managerial level sales personnel, this is definitely going to enlighten and give you some kind of a opening up to your mind, which will help you get so many ideas and go and take a big leap in life, right? So with that, let me first introduce myself. My name is Jaya Obhan. I'm the founder of Power Up Business Courses and Jaya Obhan Training Systems. We do a lot of business consultations and collaboration with corporates, wherein we help corporates for their people development initiatives. Let me just share my screen with you. Okay, this happens. I'm sorry about that. Okay, is my screen visible?
Yes.
Okay, so that's me, and this picture was taken in my last speaking gig at Rise Mumbai, where I was addressing about 200 to 300 entrepreneurs in Entrepreneur Social, which is a every month networking program that we do. So I have 15 years experience in what I am doing. So I've worked with a lot of corporates full-time also and as a trainer also. These are some of the credentials just for you to know that who am I, why would you want to trust me or, give your 1 hour in my hand to help you get enriched. So I was awarded by the Aspiring She Best Trainer of the Year and Motivational Speaker of the Year award 3 months back. And I have worked with corporates like JLL, IBM, Accenture, and I've been fortunate to have collaborated with these kind of corporates. And the picture here down below is with Roger Hamilton's team. I have been a core member of their team, and a lot of whatever learning that I share and of whatever learning that I've learned has also been a part of Roger Hamilton's entrepreneur education. So he's an entrepreneur educator. So that's about me, and I would now like Mihir to introduce himself so that you know who he is. Over to you, Mihir.
Right.
So
first of all, a very, very, very good evening to all of you. Thank you very much for having this particular webinar or attending this particular webinar on a Mother's Day. I believe that every single opportunity for growth should be taken. Right now, you do have this opportunity of spending 1 hour with me as well as Jaya. And even if you get one learning point in this entire session today, which can help you to propel higher in your personal or your professional life, then your life is sorted. So right now, this is the COVID phase. And in this COVID phase, what can be done to enhance ourselves is something that we should be looking out for. So what I'm going to also do is have a quick screen share for you, just to make sure that you have a look at who are you interacting with today. So there you go. So that's me. This is on the stage of World SME Summit, where I was the speaker for sustainable sales in challenging situations. Considering me, I have been into this domain for the last 20 years. 2 decades, uh, just conducting training sessions, keynote sessions, adding value to people's lives. I believe that this is my life purpose, and I am treading on this path very happily. I'm very passionate about what I do. So in the last 20 years, I have conducted sessions in 9 countries, more than 2,000 sessions, and helped hundreds and thousands of people to upgrade themselves, to upskill themselves, and to have a better life. I am the CEO of 24 Carat Training. That's the training organization which I started about 3 years ago. Prior to that, I used to head training divisions for organizations in India as well as abroad. I was in Dubai for almost 8 years, and my last corporate assignment was with the Damak Group, which is into real estate. They are headquartered in Dubai, and I helped them to enhance their turnover by 4.5 billion dirhams in 1 year's time by training 800 of their sales professionals. So after that particular assignment, I said it is now time to go ahead and share my knowledge and share the kind of gift that I have with all the people who are willing to go ahead and enhance their life. I am a TEDx speaker. I have been on TEDx twice. Hopefully this year would be my 3rd TEDx as well. I'm an author of the book called Impossible Sales, which has got nice 5-star ratings. You can check it on Amazon. I'm also a keynote speaker, and I go ahead and I speak at various avenues, help entrepreneurs, help students, help business owners, and people like who are into sales profession. So majorly my niche area is B2B sales, B2B negotiation, plus entrepreneurs and business owners and how they can upskill their life through sales and negotiation. So some images for you to see. The first image that you see, that they have coined a name for me called the Smiling Buddha of Sales. It is probably because of the nice smile that I have and the knowledge that I have about sales. Just below that, you would see a World Training Development Congress, and that's where I was awarded as the best trainer in the world. Then you have a news, which is Fox, which covered the news of my book, which is I Am Possible Sales, and that was a new release. Just above that, you have me on the TEDx platform, and on the right hand side, the last image that you see is me on the World SME Summit and talking about how can you have sustainable sales in challenging situations. So this 1 hour that we have today, I would definitely be sharing some key elements about sales, and I'm sure that you would go away with at least one very important learning point that you can immediately implement and start seeing things in a very different manner. Right? So I welcome you all for this wonderful session, and over to you, Jaya, to take things forward and to tell them about what are the first 3 days going to be like.
Okay, am I visible? All right. So yes, I will just take you through what is it that we are here for. Okay, so basically the reason why I chose that we have this webinar and why particularly Power Up should be something related to relationship building. Reason being, I am one of the persons who has really had a lot of help, or wherever I am today is all because of how I have been able to maintain my relationships with colleagues and all the clients that I have ever worked with. Now what happens is, usually there are 3 C's in a relationship. Sorry, excuse me for this. I'll just go to that slide so that I make an impact about what I'm saying. Yeah, so I was saying that the 3 C's of relationship building are extremely important, and the reason why I have chosen this topic specifically is because this is one thing that has helped me throughout my life to build good relationship with my colleagues, with my clients, and hence all the time and every time I was fortunate to have some kind of assignments or some kind of collaborations always ready to keep me into the business. And hence I would like to promote this extremely important concept of relationship building, and why it is so important for us to maintain relationships, to communicate, to connect and to be committed and to have commitment from our colleagues or clients or whosoever is, in that realm of our business or profession. I'm talking specifically about business and profession because that's the reason why we are here. However, all the principles that we talk about for business or profession can be replicated into our personal lives too. So when we talk about 3 C's of relationship building, whether it is communication, whether it is connection, whether it is commitment, they all compile and bridge every gap that could be a hindrance in a relationship, or it could be the best bridge to connect us with people in such a way that we build strong and long lasting relationships. So that being that, I would like to mention the 3 specific mistakes that business owners do. And not only business owners, all of us who are either doing business or freelancing, or we take up projects or assignments, or we are job seekers, any point of our professional arena that we are, these are some of the mistakes that we do. And especially during COVID, these are the 3 mistakes which I could figure out after speaking to a lot of my entrepreneur friends and many of my sales professional friends. This has been a real research which I'm bringing to you. So what are these 3 mistakes? The first biggest mistake is being in a survival mode. Now, what do I mean by being in a survival mode is, although as human beings, we are, fine-tuned to be always into a survival mode, that we want to survive. We should have this, we should have the basic things, we should have that, we should not have, we should not lose out on this. So we are tuned in and naturally we are always into a survival mode. But if you understand the significance and method of getting into the revival mode and incorporate innovation and renewal in your personality, then you're never ever going to have to worry about survival, because that will be a byproduct. You will anyways survive. When you're growing, when you're at a path of growth, when if you are maybe earning say 1 crore rupees today, so then 10 lakh is easier, right? Because now you're talking about 1 crore rupees. So this same thing happens when we are talking about reinvention, when we are talking about growth, when we are talking about innovation. Survival becomes a very, byproduct, a very common thing, a very usual thing that is bound to be there. So hence, the first thing that, I really, really recommend is to never ever worry or, really get, stressed about survival. Because survival is the easiest thing to do if you know the trick of how you can keep reinventing, innovating, and reviving yourself. So that is one of the mistakes which I observed while I was, just doing this research. The second mistake that I observed and that I have studied also is people do not know how to get support, including me, because in the beginning of my journey as an entrepreneur, I used to feel very awkward, or I used to hesitate a lot as to how should I, ask for support. First of all, whom should I ask for support? Who are those people who can really, really help me out? Because the more we try and, keep contacting the same people again and again who are our friends or relatives or very close, colleagues or something, usually we get the same kind of answers, because maybe in some arena of their life, even they are struggling for survival, or maybe, they are not really happy to help us or something like that, or for any reason. But then what happens is, within the circle of those 50 people is where we keep rotating. And then we feel lost as to, oh my God, now whom should I ask for help? Or how should I ask for help? Whether, they will help me or no. We are always very scared of the fear of rejection, the fear of being judged, and, all those things going on in our mind. It really, stops us from actually asking for support. And if we do not, go out and seek cooperation, then there is no way how we are going to ever get support and ever grow in our life. So the second most, significant mistake that I saw, or the most standing out depression that I saw in people was, they did not even know how to get support. Even if you're suffering alone, why are you suffering alone? Why don't you reach out? So, people are still in that thought process that what to do, how to do, and stuff like that. So that was the second thing. The third thing that I came across was somehow, bridging that gap of, fine, not having the fear of failure, not having the fear of judgment. Somebody would reach out to somebody, communicate, very good. But then the rapport is missing, and hence relationship doesn't build, and hence businesses are not generated. So if you're trying to sell your product or your service, or you're just trying to collaborate with somebody, then definitely there has to be some kind of rapport between the two parties. It is not possible that you just pick up the phone and you order somebody, or you give certain instructions and it is done. No, we need to first get into a rapport, yeah, with people with whom we already have some kind of a rapport. We know them, we talk to them off and on, or we have been in touch somehow or the other. It's pretty much easy. Again, if we meet people from whom or who are through our common contacts, very good, even that is a very good thing, and it builds the rapport pretty much quickly. But what if we have to reach out to somebody who is a totally cold person whom we absolutely don't know? And even if it is somebody from our friend circle or known people, how are we directly going to just communicate what it is? Isn't it better if we have some kind of a rapport in place and some kind of a relationship in place? So if we are communicating, but if we are missing the rapport, then really that struggle keeps going on, that what do we do and how do we do, and we are just going on and on and on with that stress in our heads. So these were three basic mistakes that not only I read about, I also spoke to a lot of people, and these were the three standing out mistakes which I have observed, especially during this crisis time. And crisis is not something which has hit us for the first time, and we have seen so many. It's just that this has been a little more impactful because literally we are not able to go out of the houses and there are too many restrictions. However, every time in our life, some or the other crises are going to come. For example, if this wouldn't come, in any case, artificial intelligence was already on its way to sweep the market away, isn't it? So having said that, these are the three real big mistakes that we must avoid in case if we are looking at growth. Moving forward, let us now talk about what are the action points that can help us get into the groove, right? Let's see what is it that we can do. The first and the most important thing is, now this can be a problem solver in any phase, any realm of life, whether it is your personal, whether it is your professional, whether it is a problem with your employer, whether you're stuck with your sales, anything, anywhere. If you keep thinking of new ideas to take a leap. Now first, let's talk about professionalism. If you're ready and if you're creating new ideas to take a leap in your business or your profession or your job, what will happen? You will become an asset to your own company, to the people who you're working with, that is your clients, and whosoever is around you. As a leader, you will also equally motivate people in your team. So if you keep creating, innovating, and thinking about some new things that you can do within your business or around what your services or business is, it works like wonders. So looking at my own example, you saw my picture on the stage, and I have been a speaker, so I speak to a lot of people. I have been into corporate training, so it is again a face-to-face thing. It's like one person training or coaching like about 20, 30, 50 people in a room, and all of those things. That's what my profession is. So when everything got shut down, obviously I knew that not very soon this is going to happen, that I'm going to get some training assignments or some speaking gigs. So then what is it that I could innovate? So this is something which came to my mind, that okay, why not go online and keep the purpose the same. Purpose is what? Helping people build relationships, helping people be motivated all the time, happy all the time. I just need to reach out. So let me reach out through this medium. Now again, doing this was a little, I was not feeling that confident. So then when I'm speaking about collaboration and cooperation, which I spoke in the earlier slide, I was hesitating, but I still reached out to Mihir Koltharkar. So ideally, I have no right to say that he is my competitor, because he's been my mentor also at a point in time, and I respect him a lot for that. But still, he was, kind enough to collaborate with me, and we started this journey together, and it has been really, really fruitful and helpful for people who are attending it, and for us who are able to add some value to people's life. So creating, innovating, getting some new idea. So when we do these batches, okay, the one batch we just got over last week, what we do is we do action in that, wherein we are creating ideas on the spot, some kind of brainstorming. Something needs to be done to create new products, new services, new approach for your industry. So that is about creating. The next thing which I already covered is connecting with your peers and collaborating as much as possible. So Mihir and my example is true example right here in front of you. Moving on to the next, rapport building. I already spoke about this, so I will not really take much of your time to talk about this right now. But this is one of the main topics in our course. Okay, so we have like one full day, I mean, not full day, but one entire session on rapport building. The reason is because the simple thing that we want everybody to understand is we connect with people very, very instantly. Those people who are like us, the moment we have some kind of commonality, some kind of similarity, some kind of, common background or anything in common, instantly we connect with those kind of people, and rapport is built in such a way that it can lead to really, really long-term relationship. And hence rapport building is extremely, extremely important. So in your businesses or in your profession currently also, if you already have new ideas, if you already have spoken, asked for cooperation, collaborated with people, but if rapport is missing in your conversations, if rapport is missing when you're approaching new clients also, then there is going to be a problem. So if you understand that how you strike this rapport, how you connect with people, and how you make those relationships, it's going to be really, really helpful. So that's about rapport building. Now, this era is going to be about cooperation, rapport, and market dominance. And these are the specific elements that we emphasize on and we recommend highly for each and every participant who is here with us and who would also come with us on the advanced journey. That why this is important is something we spoke about, but how we incorporate it and do it immediately. So like, the action that happens is what really, makes us different from rest of the market. So having said that, let me now also take you back to Mihir, and let's just understand what are some more elements of growing our businesses so that, we get some more good value. So let me just stop sharing this so that Mihir can come on in the center. So over to you, Mihir.
Right. Thank you very much, Jaya. Right. Thank you, Jaya. So now, before we continue with this particular session, I would like you to take a notepad and a pen with you, because there are going to be some very interesting points that I'm going to share. You might also be doing some calculations. So please make sure that you do have a notepad and a pen. I'm going to share a screen over here. So till that time, just make sure that you have your notepad and your pen handy. So what we are going to do is, I'm going to make sure that this session is something which is very interactive. My first opening statement is something which is very important for all the business owners, for all the people who are in sales profession. No enterprise can survive if it cannot profitably sell its products. Let me repeat it. No enterprise can survive if it cannot profitably sell its products. This is something which is very, very, very important, because businesses run on profits. In this COVID state, you may have also noticed that there have been some businesses which were forced to close down. There were businesses who said that we would not be able to provide salaries for employees. Now, why has this happened? It is because they did not have enough of profits that could sustain this difficult situation. Sooner or later, all those companies, if they do not have enough of profits and if they do not get any help, they will be forced to close down. The situation is there not just for us, but it is there in the world, and it is there. So no enterprise can survive if it cannot profitably sell its products. After the COVID state, the time wherein business will start growing, at that point of time, things are going to be very delicate because you are going to interact with people, customers. You want the sale to happen. The customers will tell you that we do not have enough money, we do not have budget, and you will be forced to reduce your price. Now, if at that time you decide to let go of your profits just to focus on that sale, are you really helping yourself? Are you really helping your organization? This is something which you will have to play very smart, that you do want the sale, but you do not also want to give out a lot of discounts. So you have to sell the products profitably, and that is the key element for us. I'm going to share a magic cycle of sales. So this magic cycle, if you look at it, the last one where the dollar is there, that is you, and that is what your target is. So any organization, if you are working for an organization as a sales professional, you will have your targets, and the targets would most of the time be revenue targets. If you are a business owner, then you do have your targets that you keep for 1 year, and you say that in the next year I want to do this, or this much I should achieve this much. So there are some financial targets which are there. To do that or to achieve that particular target, you need to close certain number of sales. So we are going in the reverse direction. So to achieve your targets, you have to close. So you require certain number of sales that need to close. To get to that closes, you need to negotiate with certain number of people. Because not all negotiations will end in the customer saying that I want your product or service. To get into that negotiation phase, first you need to propose and convince the clients. If they are convinced with your product, if they think that yes, this product makes sense for them or is the solution for their pain areas, only then they will start negotiating. To get to that propose and convince state, you need meetings. You need meetings to happen. Because not all meetings, people are going to get convinced. To get to that meeting stage, you need calls. When I say calls, they could be phone calls. They could be maybe visits, cold visits as well, or warm visits. So all of that is a part of the magic cycle. Once this COVID state is over, once the quarantine is over, lockdown is over, businesses are going to put pressure. Whether you are an employee or whether you are a business owner, there is always going to be pressure. And this pressure is into making sure that this magic cycle is followed properly. So I always tell this to all the business owners. Don't focus on the revenue. Focus on the process.
Hello, sir.
Hi. So just can we have everyone on mute so that it is much easier to communicate?
Yeah, so that we can take maximum value of this, and then we'll have a session of hi and hello. We would love to do that.
Absolutely. Right. So if you have any questions during the presentation, at that point of time, I would recommend that you jot down those questions. Once you jot down those questions during the towards the end of the session, we will go ahead and have a question and answer session for us.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Mihir. There is somebody in the chat. So Joseph says that your voice is having some disturbance.
Okay.
Yeah,
Joseph, am I clear right now? Am I audible right now?
Yes, yes. Now it's fine. It's clear.
Is it fine now? Okay.
Yes.
Great. Perfect. Thank you very much, Joe. Okay. So we were talking about this magic cycle. And for us, it is very important to understand that we should not be focusing only on the revenue, but we should be focusing a lot on the process. If we follow the process, the revenue will come. And there is a very structured approach to sales. Now, my question to you is, what happens when you close profitably? Yeah. So if you're conducting a sale transaction, and if you close profitably and you generate enough profit, what happens? So first, who will benefit? You, obviously, because if you are able to sell profitably, you're securing your place in the organization or in the business. This is going to add up to the sustainability part. Second, your colleagues are going to get benefited. How? Because if you are able to sell profitably, you're encouraging them, you're motivating them also to go ahead and sell. They're going to be inspired by your success. Third, your organization is going to get benefited. So if you are able to sell, your colleagues are also able to sell, profits are increasing, organizations have a lot of revenue in their kitty, and that increases the sustainability part. Your investors are going to be benefited, because all those people who have invested in your organization, they are also looking out for profits. If they see those profits coming in, they will invest more. If they invest more, the organization grows. Your customers are going to get benefited. So if you are able to sell profitably, because of the profit that the organization will have, you can come up with new products, you can come up with new services, you can come up with add-on services, you can come up with probably different locations where you can serve customers, and that overall is going to contribute to your growth and your organization's growth. Last not the least, your loved ones, because when everything is going on fine, your loved ones are going to be very happy. There is enough finances coming in, your respect is there, your recognition is there, everything is going on very well. So your loved ones are going to be happy. And isn't that something that we all crave for? I'm going to share one specific insight for you. And this is where you need to do some kind of calculation. You need to take some kind of decision over here. So hear this very well. The picture that you see over here is of the gentleman called Teddy Roosevelt. His original name, Theodore Roosevelt. He was the President of United States of America. This picture was taken in the year 1912. So 1912. Now in 1912, Teddy Roosevelt was not the president. He was campaigning for the presidential position. So there was a lot of campaigning which was happening, a lot of advertisements. He was speaking at various forums, and he was trying to promote why he should be the president and what value addition can he bring in to United States. During this campaigning or situation, he had a campaign manager who was handling all the marketing promotions. In one such promotional aspect, there were leaflets which were printed where this photograph was there. So 3 million leaflets were printed at one time. These leaflets were supposed to be distributed across. And if you look at the photo, this photo kind of projects an image which is of a very strong person and who can lead United States as the president. So 3 million leaflets were printed, all ready to be dispatched across the country for campaigning procedure. And a grave error was identified. What was the error? Well, this photo was copyrighted by the photographer. The permission to use the photograph was not taken. Now, what does it translate to? Is if the photographer sees his photograph on a pamphlet without his permission, he can go to the court and the court would grant him $1 per photograph as a compensation, which Teddy Roosevelt's campaign manager had to pay. So which just means that if they promote these pamphlets, 3 million pamphlets, without taking the permission from the photographer, then they will end up in paying $3 million. And I'm talking about $3 million in the year 1912. Their entire campaign budget was $4 million. So just imagine, I mean, if they would go ahead with this campaign, they would be bankrupt. So now the campaign manager was tasked with this responsibility. The campaign manager had to call the photographer and negotiate. I want you to think now, you are the campaign manager. You are in this situation. You have to call the photographer and offer the photographer a deal. There is amount which is involved. How much amount do you think you will offer maximum? Yeah, because you cannot delay this. The pamphlets are there. They are ready to be distributed. You need to go ahead and distribute those pamphlets. But for that, you will have to negotiate something, some amount with the photographer. So I want you to just think about what is the amount that you can come up with, that you will be having a deal with the photographer. So think about it and put your answers on the chat. I'm looking forward for your answers. I hope everyone got the question. So how much would you be willing to pay, or what is the kind of deal that you would be making in with this photographer? Let's hear some answers. So I'm going to give you 15 seconds just to think and write down your answers. Were you able to think?
We have one answer.
Right. So Vibhor says, would try to negotiate in making the photographer a part of the campaign and make him involved in the future activities permanently. So Vibhor, I'll share this, that there was an amount which is involved. You cannot just give in for zero amount. So there is an amount which is involved. So try to think what is the amount which would be there. So I'll share what is the correct answer for this. And the correct answer is minus $250. Minus $250. Why minus? It is because the photographer paid $250. The question that was asked was, so the campaign manager called up the photographer and he asked the question saying that there is an opportunity for your photograph to be visible to 3 million people. How much are you willing to pay for it? And the photographer said, I can only manage $250. And the campaign manager said, done. So that is the power of negotiation. Now at this particular point of time, I would want you to try and think of from two different perspectives. So think from a perspective of the photographer and think from the perspective of the campaign manager, both. Who was in profit and who was in loss? So I just think about it. I mean, from the photographer's perspective, the photographer could have made a fortune only if the photographer knew how to negotiate. So instead of just going ahead and saying that yes, $250 I'm willing to pay, instead of that, judging maybe the circumstances, understanding that it was the campaign manager who called, so there must be something important, probably taking a step back and telling the campaign manager, wait, and I will give you an answer in some time. Then doing the research and then seeing probably the urgency part of it. So there are tools, tips, techniques, planning which is involved in negotiation. If that is done properly, then it can be more profitable. Over here, obviously the campaign manager was very smart, yeah? But it was not the wit, it was a plan. The campaign manager knew exactly what the question should be. And if the question was right, then the campaign manager would be in profit. Just imagine, instead of spending $3 million from a campaign budget, which can cost Teddy Roosevelt his presidential position, from that position, he went on to get $250 from the photographer and still managed to remove the error part of it. So if you are not prepared, it is going to cost you. If you are prepared, it is going to benefit you. Now, after this COVID stage, the moment you start meeting the customer, and if you are not prepared enough, if you are only doing business the way that you were doing business, if you are doing sales the only way that you were doing sales earlier, if that is the case, then you are taking a chance. Because after quarantine, things are going to be very different. You cannot go with the same kind of approach. You will have to upskill yourself, upgrade yourself, get enough knowledge so that you can be better prepared to close the deals. So when you look at the cycle, the last part is the closing part. But to reach to that closing part, the entire cycle is essential. I mean, you cannot just go ahead and ask someone saying that this is my product, will you buy? There has to be a lot of things which are involved before that. I always believe this, that closing is very similar to proposals. You cannot go to a stranger with a ring like this and say that, will you marry me? You will probably end up with a slap and you come back. So what are the chances of your proposal getting accepted? The chances will happen or increase only if you have known that person, you know the likes and dislikes, you have been through some experiences together, you have spent time together, you have built a rapport, you are able to connect. Only then, when you propose, the chances of you getting a yes are much more. So business is very similar to this, and closing is very similar to this. You will have to go through that entire cycle. You will have to make sure that your first impressions are right. You will go ahead with what are the kind of questions, trying to understand every single thing, trying to understand their real needs, and then build up a relationship strong enough, remove all the objections, negotiate it better, and then put forward the closing question. Only then the chances of you getting a close are higher. So, you need to understand that you have identified the buying motivators accurately. You should also know what is the secret indicator while observing body language. Body language, so body speaks. And if you know the secret indicator, then you will be very successful to close. The most successful closing techniques and their right approaches also. So there are about 46 closing techniques. Can you use all 46 on one customer? No. Okay. Would all the 46 closing techniques suit you? No. Okay. Would all 46 closing techniques suit a particular type of customer? No. So you need to understand which closing technique should I use for what kind of person? What is the kind of closing technique that suits me the best? Okay. How can I know which are the secret indicators to know when should I ask for a close? So all of these makes closings very easier. Now, how do I say that? It is because there are proven success stories which I have had in the last 20 years. So one of the real estate company which increased its turnover by $4.5 billion dirhams in a year. A retail and a building materials company increased its turnover by 1.2 million in 18 months. There was a ship repair company in Qatar. They saved $1 million within first month of attending a session. An entrepreneur, and so these are not just the companies with big numbers, but even an entrepreneur who was based in Nasik, who has started his business of industrial equipment, they had 0 clients. They managed to get 11 big clients and 30 other clients which were small and medium within 6 months. So just imagine, the more you learn, the more you upgrade, the more you upskill, the better you would be to perform your job, to make sure that you close profitably. I always say this, the faster you start, the better results that you get. So the sooner that you start, the better it is going to be. Utilize all the time that you have, because time is the only resource that you cannot save. You can just spend it. You can just invest in it. If you are able to invest time in a better way, the chances of you getting success increase drastically. So get ready. I just hope that whatever session that we have had so far, you have been able to get some great pointers. Over to you, Jaya. Jaya, take things forward and share your insights as well.
Okay, my video is on and I'm here. So I just love, doing these sessions with Mihir, because there's so much that even I get to learn, and some really good pointers that, we heard from you. Thank you so much for that, Mihir. And yes, moving forward, so I am a firm believer that, when we start off a journey, and especially an entrepreneurial journey, we have to be mentally prepared that it is not going to be cakewalk. There are going to be ups and downs, and it will keep swinging forever. So, whenever you think that you want to be in your comfort zone and you're done with this or done with that, be prepared for some hit and something new. So yes, so all the phases of, whatever we spoke about, starting from how do we seek cooperation, to how do we build relationships, to how do we negotiate, and then how do we close a deal, whether it is a marriage proposal, whether it is a business proposal, whether it is a job, whether it is a promotion or anything. So we need to be very, very, fluent in all these things and make our personality such that it comes to us very, very naturally. So having said that, let me also share with you this screen. So we went through with, okay. So like Mihir said, the faster you start, the better results you get. And it's very, very true. Okay, why am I not able to on this? Yes, I'll just go to the screen share and display this PPT. It starts from start. So there are some actions that we need to keep taking, and only if we are taking action continuously, sometimes even if nothing is there in our head, but we are taking action continuously, something or the other strikes, right people start collaborating with us, and we keep moving forward. So taking action is very important. And that is what I was coming to. So now what action are we looking for to take? Okay. So the action that we might want you to take that could help you to engage with us in this journey forward and to have more learnings and a little, more closed connectivity and, proximity with us would be this 5 days course that we have introduced. And we have already finished the first batch of it last week, as I mentioned. And the testimonies have been awesome, and that is what gave us the courage to do the second round of it. And then we are going to keep continuing doing this, because this is helping the entrepreneurs, the professionals, the businessmen, and all those people who are seeking jobs or want to grow in their jobs. So what are we going to do in these 5 days? Day one is going to be a full session on super cooperation, which means developing talent for efficiency and effectiveness, and creating time for innovation. So anywhere, in case if you're stuck in your job or your profession and you're looking for some creativity, or you're not able to understand what is something new that I can do. So like when I was talking to one of my friend, he's the CEO of one of the companies. So he told me, what is the suggestion that you'll give for builders? Now give me a suggestion. You're talking about innovation so much. Give me a suggestion. They have purchased so much land and now everything is stuck. What are they going to do with it? How are they going to make money out of it? So I told him something at least people should think themselves for their own industries. I can think of mine, you think of yours, or you want me to do all the job. But if you want me to do, and if you want me to think aloud, what I could think from my perspective is you give that land to the government for making beds, the place that people need right now for, all the beds that need to come for the COVID patients and stuff. Do something like that. So then he said, yeah, okay. So the reason I mentioned this example is that if we think hard enough, there is definitely something that we can do with our professions or in our industry, which can be a little byproduct or a new product of our own stream. So that is something that we do on the first day, which is not only telling you about it or talking about it, but taking action also. The second day is stealth rapport building, which means forging stronger relationships with clients, associates, and peers. And this could also be with your bosses or any kind of rapport building that you're looking at. This could be helpful for that. Day 3 is about surpassing competition, which is grabbing the market share, creating monopoly, and highlighting your brand. So we have some real-time businessmen coming and sharing their stories and some real case studies that we do, how some people grab the market and they, really have this monopoly thing. So, very similar to those businesses which are in monopoly even now. So they are not too much of soft skills. They are more of practical and real time case study skills and real time what businessmen actually do who want to surpass competition and move ahead. Day 4 is top negotiation techniques. So some of the things which Mihir spoke about, we have an entire session on that, where part by part, we also do some kind of negotiation calculations and a lot of things that we talk about and a lot of activities that we do so that we understand this concept and are already ready to apply it in our professions. Day 5 is master your closing techniques. Now, like Mihir said, if everything in the cycle falls in place, if you've had the right kind of calling, the right kind of body language, the right kind of rapport building, the right kind of negotiation, and everything rightly done, closing is much easier, but it is still something that is the most important part. So until and unless you haven't closed a sale or closed a deal, it's not a done deal. So the 5th day is about mastering your closing skills, which is learning to close deals without hesitation. So, sometimes we are so good at work, everything is good, but we are very hesitant to ask for any kind of commercials or something like that. So that is one part of it, but a lot of other things that go into closing. So this is the 5-day schedule that we have for our 5 days coming advanced sessions. And what is it that we are going to give you? So what is it that you're going to get? So you will get a 5-day live coaching from Mihir and myself on the topics that I mentioned in the previous slide. You will get a few bonuses. And what are they? A 30-minute one-on-one session with me, a free 30-minute one-on-one session with Mihir, and free entry to our business, to our Power Up Business Summit on the 17th of May, where we are going to have some brilliant entrepreneurs who have at least reached the threshold of extremely good turnovers. I will not share it now because the suspense will all go. And we have some great people in our panel who are going to talk about real time. What is it that they are doing about the cash flows, about innovating, about reinventing, which already they are doing. So that's going to be the brainstorming and the discussion that the panelists will do. And we will have about 5 really good panelists there. All of this includes in this. But for today and for now, those of you who are doing, immediate transaction with us, we have some special offer for you. So first of all, the time would be 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. from the dates 12th to 16th May. We can also send recordings if you miss this timing. However, you do not get the one-on-one, discussion time and question answer time. So we encourage everybody to attend it on the spot. Otherwise, it's very difficult to generate recordings and send it to them. However, if there is a time constraint, then we do. So the enrollment fee, which should have been 12,000 and plus all the other benefits that you get, for today, we are keeping it 4,000 only for those people who are ready to take action now. So if you're dropping your confirmation on the chat that you are wanting to take this, enroll for this course, we will know that we have to contact you, and then myself or Khushi, so I have not introduced you to Khushi, I will do that. One of us will call you and we will book your seats immediately. So just give me a moment till I